Jennifer Goodspeed with the Goodspeed Group here with Daryl Andrus from First American Title. And we are going to talk about closing day, which is the most exciting part of the real estate transaction. Is the day has finally come that you get to go and sign your life away and get a large loan, or if you're paying cash, you get those either way. You get the keys to your house. So we want you to know what to expect on closing day, what to bring, how long it will take, what to expect. So Daryl's going to talk to us about that.
Well, basically you'll need to know the amount that you're going to have to wire if you're a buyer. Anything over $10,000 would need to be wired to the title company. So that would have to be known before the closing. So usually the day before you'll get that amount. And then be able to wire your funds. Then to come to the closing, you're going to bring a valid driver's license or a passport, but they all have to be current, or a military ID also will work.
Okay.
So those items would be appropriate. That's both the buyer and the seller need to bring some type of ID on that.
And a lot of times you don't know that your driver's license is expired unless you get pulled over by a police officer. So definitely make sure that you check that before coming to closing, because they will not accept an expired license.
We are not allowed to, so a lot of times we've had people come to closing, find that out, and then we've had to send them to the license branch to get an ID or update it really quick or something. So yeah, don't find out the day of closing. That's
So you've wired your funds. If it's more than $10,000, if it's less than $10,000, you can still wire.
Yeah, you can still wire it.
But
Yeah.
you can also bring a
certified check. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we're at the table. We've got our ID. We've got our money. What happens?
Okay, it'll take probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depends on the lender and how many docs we have to send for approval. And so it's about an hour time frame. And then the buyers will sit on one side, the sellers will sit on the other side, the closer will be at the end, and they'll just pass documents around for everybody to start signing their lives away.
So the closer actually goes through all of those documents page by page, in which the buyer or the seller, depending on who that piece of paper is for, signs. She'll go over and say, okay, this is what this says, this is what. Can you make changes in the documents at closing?
That's very unusual to have that happen. Now, if we have a misspelled name or something like that, we may have to go back to the lender if it's a buyer and have them correct things and then send it back to us. But normally, at that point, everything should have already been caught and we should be in good shape.
So if you're someone who likes to read,
Uh-huh.
and that's okay. I mean, you're signing a lot of important documents. If you know, hey, I like to read everything, you need to let your lender or your real estate agent or the title company know, hey, I want to read through all of those docs, because loan docs are usually a big stack. And so if you want to read all of those things, everyone would appreciate getting that in advance so that you can look over. If you've got questions, we can get those answered, because you're not going to make those changes the day of the closing.
Especially on lender docs and that type of thing. They aren't going to let you change. So.
And if you're a seller, can you expect to get your proceeds like right then?
You can walk out with your check as long as we've had all the funding and have all the money and everything's done. You can walk out with your check. We can wire your proceeds to your account if you want. It just depends on what the seller prefers. If they're going to another closing immediately after, they will need a wire so that the money's liquid and ready to go. So we may wire it to their next title company where they're going to buy another house, or we can wire it straight into their account. If they're closing in Florida or someplace else, they may want us to do that. So.
Okay. Well, if you have additional questions about title work or what the title company does, certainly you can always contact Daryl directly or visit their website.